Hey, what's up, guys? This video I want to basically do a little sharing. I mean, this is not about any business or service or opportunity in particular, but just to kind of like talk about myself. You can kind of say that I'm feeling kind of vulnerable at this point of time. It's been a very tough day with a lot of deep stuff to think about. Um, it's like you can say I mean, pretty much like sandwiched. Okay, between strong opinions of my mom and also my wife, the two most important women in my family. It's kind of tough, like supporting everything, um, the wants of everyone around. Okay, I'm not sure if any of you, how many of you out there are fathers, or let's say if you're supporting a lot of stuff. Okay, I mean there's a family, uh, and family is it's like different factions. It's kind of like having different political parties, uh, in in a closed space, and being the president, having to just bear all of that at the same time. So first and foremost, I want to talk about. There's a couple of things want to talk about. Like, I want to share with you the story behind the smile. Okay, behind the goofy antics, um, and also the accent. So a lot of people, when they watch my videos on YouTube, or they hear me teaching webinars, they probably think I'm a very, uh, you know, uh, focused, prim and proper kind of guy. But if you know me in person, I'm quite the opposite. I'm quite the goofball, because and actually a lot of people, especially those in my family, like for instance, particularly the two most important women in my life, my mom and my wife, they both think I'm too goofy, and I'm not taking things seriously. So, um, which is not true. They still don't know this, but it's not true, because the fact of the matter is, like, sometimes for me, bearing a lot of stress and pressure from many different factors. For instance, I think the things that um, my mom wants, my wife wants, my kids want, um, my wife's parents want, are all very imbalanced, and I feel stretched in, I feel like I'm trying to be Samson to kind of like hold everything together, if you get what I'm saying. Or like, you remember that scene in Spider-Man where he was trying, um, when that villain had just cut the ship in half, and he was using his spider web and just casting it out with arms and legs, just trying to pull it in close together so that everyone on the ship's not gonna go into the sea. Well, I actually feel like that, constantly. um, However, when I do something goofy, when I kind of behave like immaturely, which kind of pisses off my wife a lot, and pisses off my mom a lot, um, and my wife's parents as well, because they're more like prim and proper type. Um, I the reason why I really do it is because I feel that it's some kind of like an emotional anchor, and just by doing something really like out of the blue, um, like sometimes it could be like just throwing punches in the air punching, doing some like or doing some goofy, uh, deliberately goofy kind of dance moves out of nowhere. Uh, you know, for them it's like a false pass when I do it, but for me, it's kind of like it's a way of letting off steam and just keeping myself in check. I mean, well, there's some very stressed people out there, and you probably have some very stressed people out there in your life who they are always looking stressed, uh, and they stress about things that stress them. And what's the point of worrying? I don't get it. Like, yeah, sure. Well, maybe someone out there has to refinance his car or house, or whatever. Um, Maybe someone else is going to get retrenched in a couple of months and has no plan. But just getting stressed about what's going to happen is not going to change anything. I mean, that's what I believe. I always believe, what can I proactively do? Okay? Everyone has problems. Everyone has different kinds of problems. When you have no money, you got problems. When you got money, you got different kind of problems. Okay, so um, it was just kind of funny because over the weekend when I was doing this training for binary.com affiliates at a binary.com event, yeah, incidentally, I'm wearing that shirt right now, D-Riff shirt, right? Um, so like I was showing people a little bit of my journey and how people were actually saying, it's really amazing, it's really inspiring the story that you share because most of the time we only see people go from rags to riches in those fake sales videos, but here you are, someone who has made it not only as a trader but also made it as an affiliate. So I felt really honored when they said that. But the point of me coming back to that point is that I'm saying that at every juncture in life, it don't mean it don't mean you have like fancy cars, big house, uh, nice watches and stuff. But it don't mean a thing. Because everyone has their own fair share of problems, and I have my own share of problems too. But it's just that I don't make it a point to stress on it. Okay. Um, like just 2 days ago. By the way, good news for you guys who've been trying to message on the Binary Lab page or the face or the Forex Lab page, because I've actually replaced my admin after realizing that there's been a lot of neglect in the way that the messages were being responded to. Customers have been given incorrect or inaccurate answers to their inquiries, being turned away, ignored, left hanging, and whatnot. So that's out. That's out. That's one chapter that's closed, and I'm happy for that. So, by the way, if anyone has ever tried messaging my pages, I would actually urge you to try it again. Okay, I guarantee you have a whole new, different experience. Okay, um, so I've put one of my longest serving employees that knows my whole business inside and out at the helm of the operations for now, and I've entrusted her to basically in the future HR as well, and expansion of my businesses. So yeah, everyone has their fair share of issues. I have my issues too, and I decide to be goofy about it. I decide to smile. Well, um, I would like to share with you this is being my way of life, and I hope that for some of you that's relevant as well, because when you get problems, I learned from one of my early day mentors in internet marketing, a guy called Jazz Lai. Um, he took after, I think, was it something that Jack Ma said as well? It's like when you get a problem, laugh it off. The real entrepreneurs and the go-getters in life will laugh it off. Like when Jazz, I remember he had a year where he was negative in his business by close to 1 million, and he laughed it off. Oh, it's like, well, sometimes certain experiences work and sometimes they don't. It's just a way of life. You gotta fix it. Um, and well, laugh it off, smile it off, and you know, in the very least, even if it doesn't make you solve your problem or make you richer, it's gonna make you feel better. So smile. Okay. Um, when you smile, it does make you feel instantly better because it triggers endorphins in your brain. It's kind of like the way you breathe, because when you breathe, um, there's a guy out there you can search, Wim Hof, Wim Hof, Hof, and what he does, he discovered a way after the demise of his wife. He discovered a way of breathing that can actually help one override the body's autonomic nervous system. Okay, and when you're able to do that, you can actually, through your breathing, is a gateway to controlling your body's response to a lot of external factors, including extreme cold. So I was able to use and apply Wim Hof's method of breathing by laying in an ice bath that was like, uh, you know, -2 degrees Celsius for a full 3 minutes and actually be sweating in the water. How amazing is that, right? Um, and when you smile, okay, it actually creates and reminds your body of other times that you smiled, and despite how down you feel. It's amazing that you can actually kind of con your body to feeling good again. So if you haven't tried this out, I urge you to try it out too. I do this a lot. I use goofy behavior as a way of anchoring myself to bring back some positive emotions to kind of like, oh well, well, we could be here and be sad and upset, but we could just, you know, flick it off. We could smile it off. We could goof it off by, like doing like, like I do like air punching, like, it's like, I am very goofy. Um, and now what happened to the accent? Okay, here's the thing. So, would you agree with me that, okay, and actually a lot of the reason why um, I kind of have these constant challenges, so to speak, is because you probably realize by now that first impressions are very hard to change. Okay, when when I was born, I kind of like had I was a cesarean delivered baby, and I was kind of like pneumonia at birth. Okay, wasn't a very strong kid. Through my childhood, like I battled with asthma and asthma attacks, and always had to bring the Ventolin spray to school, and constantly had to sit out of PE class. And because of that, I was constantly bullied and joked about, um, and because of that, um, my mom also saw me as weak and a kid that needed to be protected, and even up to this day. So it's very hard to change first impressions. My wife, um, I met her at a time when I was uh, asset rich and cash poor. This happened at the time when a broker called G Options went down. Um, yeah, I think it was that around that time. And I had money that could not be withdrawn from my trading account, and also they didn't pay me affiliate commissions for like 2 months as well. So there was a couple 100,000. So after committing myself to purchasing a condo, I was literally pulling all together all my last funds and unallocated savings uh, into purchasing that. So it was kind of funny, like how someone who've come so far could actually feel so low, and it was kind of funny. Like I had so much to my name at that point of time, but I had very little in my bank account, which is very surprising as well. So years on, okay, like at that point of time, my wife saw me as someone who had been gullible, um, what do you call that? Like irresponsible, someone who had been victimized, and some kind of like someone who needed to be protected, as well as how my mom also felt that I was weak and needed protection. So um, it's like with regards to this, kind of brings me to the story of the accent, because there was a period of time when I was in my 17, 18 years old time, and that's when I frequently went out of the country. I was crazy about tennis at the time, so I went to places like Australia and Spain and spent like months there to train in tennis. And when I came back, okay, it's only when you leave that first impressions are hard to change. It's only when you leave that that little nucleus that you're finally able to release yourself and become who you want to be. And along the way, accents stuck. And it's kind of funny, like I could be speaking with people from different countries, and because I've spent time in different countries, I've subconsciously like picked up bits and pieces of different accents, and that's why one day I sound British, one day I sound American, one day I sound Australian, uh, or one day it's just a mishmash, and one day I sound a little bit more Asian. One day I sound honky tonk. That's the reason why, because I mean, like having spent time out of home, away from the people that constantly see me in a certain way, that would otherwise have made it very hard for me to change my life, um, then that's why it kind of, that's why it's kind of happened. So, um, I know I'm just ranting here, but I just wanted to share a couple of things that you guys may not know about me. Like I want to explain, um, the story behind a smile, always wearing a smile on my face, and the story behind the goofiness, story behind the accent. Now you know a little bit more. Okay. Um, Today in this video, I don't mean to pitch anything, but if I could pitch you something, it would be about expressing yourself, being true to what you feel. Um, if anyone out there is feeling pressures from friends, family, spouse, a girlfriend, a boyfriend, kids, uh, people at a religious place like church, people at a workplace, everyone has different kinds of stress. You can choose to be stressed out by it and go nuts. Okay, by the way, I live with people who have had uh, depression issues, and I've also had my time in depression, which was a couple years back, like what, 10, 12 years back. Um, and in fact, the reason why I even learned neurolinguistic programming is because some people very close to me, have some deep issues and just refuse to seek medical treatment. So, well, yeah. So now you know. So it's not because I wanted to sell better or I wanted to be able to change more minds. I mean, that's like to be able to create more transformation among the people that follow me uh, on, my training communities on YouTube is one thing, but the real reason was to actually, like fix some people very close to me and help them, break out of certain patterns that I just felt that they needed to break out because they're just not willing to get any proper forms of help. So remember to smile. Okay, in closing, remember to smile because when you smile, you can actually be reminded of the times that you're truly happy and having good fun. Um, when you do certain actions, okay, why do you think people go like, after winning a point in tennis or scoring a goal? Well, you know, sometimes doing that point after point is kind of tiring and fatiguing. It takes energy in itself. Or like shouting, okay, why do I do that? But no, it's actually kind of like it's in a way like a war cry. It's a way of re-inspiring yourself because there is not enough inspiration in this world. Too many people are having too uninspired lives. And the fact of the matter is the society wants you to fail so that you can be like the rest of them. The society hates seeing people succeed because they stick out like sore thumbs. This is precisely why, when anyone is getting ahead in life, people like to question their motives, question their inspiration, question the profits they make, question the ranks they gain, question the positions they attain, because they want to create self-doubt so they can come back down from up there to down here. I don't know about you, but most people don't really have the kind of community of friends or even one friend who believe in the same things that they do, the same dreams that they have. And if I could do anything for you at all, I would love for you to connect with me on Facebook. It's facebook.com/the professional bum. Once again, it's facebook.com/the professional bum. And I would at least like to be that one friend who sees you for the dreams that you have for yourself, and not what society wants you to be. So that's all for now. Just keeping this under 20 minutes. Goodbye.